Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Planet X News, November 20th, 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to give all of you a quick update on Dr. Albers. I guess a lot of you may or may not know she's become very, very ill with mercury poisoning, and that is all due to fillings that were removed from her teeth several years ago. And these were silver fillings. And if any of you would like to go, Google and research this, you'll find a lot of information on it. But unfortunately for her, when she was living in South Africa and had these silver fillings placed in her mouth, the mercury deposit in each of these fillings leaked into her bloodstream. And if you go ahead and do the research on this mercury poisoning, you can see that it's very detrimental to your health. You experience a very wide range of symptoms. And, I didn't know about this till just a few months ago. And I noticed things were kind of declining in her health, but, she was keeping it from me, maybe herself not even recognizing what was happening to her and her body. And, as of right now, every day is an uphill battle. She's experiencing very, very severe fatigue. Before Dr. Albers would, get up in the morning and do her routine. She's a hardcore vegan, and she eats very, very well. And then she would start working and doing her research and writing her reports and doing her videos and getting those uploaded to her YouTube channels. And between the both of us, we've published, anywhere from 12 to 14 books, and we've worked on a lot of projects together. And all of that has pretty much just come to a complete end because it's very, very hard for her to function. Her family's very, very worried about her physical condition. And one of the major issues is the damage that the mercury poisoning does to your body is irreversible. And, there's only one method of expelling the mercury from your body, and it's called chelation. And, you guys can go ahead and Google that and check it out for yourself. Unfortunately, the one doctor that I did contact 3 months ago was not able, or maybe not willing, to help her. No reason given. But fortunately, I have found another doctor very close by, and she is going to be seeing Dr. Albers for the first appointment on December 29th. And that was the earliest that she could get her in. Under the circumstances, with everything that's going on in this world, with, pandemics, epidemics, the election, the economy, censorship on social media, all of these crazy things happening. This was the earliest appointment that I could get her in. The doctor did explain to me how these therapy appointments are conducted. They do make you very, very sick, and they are meant to slowly expel these mercury deposits from your body, but it takes a long period of time. Once the appointments start at the end of December, it could possibly take 4 to 6 months before everything is completed, and hopefully Dr. Albers will be out of the woods, per se, and hopefully regain her health. So I guess we're just going to have to wait and see how this all pans out. You know, like I said, every day is a struggle. You know, I brought Dr. Albers here to the United States to, get away from a dangerous situation in South Africa. And, we had a lot of plans. These plans to disclose what we found and what we were researching. And I don't know, if it's just, God's will that I was able to bring her here to the U.S., because I don't know if she would have been able to get the proper medical attention that she will need to fight this mercury poisoning. Dr. Albers has been widely criticized, over this past year about, the videos that she was posting on her YouTube channel. I don't know if, the mercury poisoning was affecting her thought process. I don't know. I speak with her every day, and I don't really see any signs of that. What I do see signs of is, this fatigue and, every joint in your body just aching, and the pain. And then the other day, just out of nowhere, she started suffering some very, very severe abdominal pains in her right side. But then after about 24 hours of, suffering through that subsided. But, she's very, very weak. It pretty much takes all of her energy just to get up and, take a shower, make herself her vegan foods, which she is, stands by religiously. And that's probably a good thing, that her diet consists of, these vegetables and fruits. But, I'm hoping for the best. These chelation therapy appointments are quite expensive. They're going to range from around $150 to about $200 per visit. And I'm going to have to take her there twice a month, so every 2 weeks. And the therapy is going to make her sick. It's been described to me by the doctor like having chemotherapy. You have the chemotherapy, you're weak, it makes you feel nauseous, but the chelation therapy is meant to push the mercury, the heavy metals, out of her body, and usually it will be expelled through urine whenever you take a pee, per se. And then the constant blood testing. Dr. Albers does not have any medical insurance, and we're going to have to pay for all of this directly out of pocket. If this does not happen, the end results will be really bad. Really, really bad. I don't want to get, into this, thinking about the worst outcome. I am doing everything I can financially possible to, coordinate a medical fund for Dr. Albers, so when the time comes, we can afford to, well, let's just put it simply, to save her life, to preserve a beautiful mind, an educated woman who pretty much gave it all and gave it all up to come out and disclose and speak the truth. I have the utmost respect for her in that aspect. And the same applies for me, disclosing this information and working on finding this object and disclosing what is happening in our solar system has really turned my life upside down also. And it's been many, many, many years, dealing with these stupid trolling operations and the criticism and the government and the censoring and the social media and, making people believe that what we have found is critical. Yes, it may be beyond belief. Some people may think that it's completely fake or it's a fairy tale. Oh, you're welcome to your own opinion. But over the past year, with, the help of some very sophisticated programming and with the help of a friend, we now are able to capture and reveal these objects. Many years ago, I used to think, well, okay, there's only one Planet X object. But, again, with further research and further investigations and developing the techniques and the knowledge to uncover and reveal and find this object, we now know that there are many of these stellar core type objects. Call them Planet X, whatever you want to call them. Some of them are very, very, very large, and some of them are small. But they seem to be in some sort of a formation type of a system, similar to our solar system that we live in. How they got here, well, that's probably always going to remain a mystery. You could hypothesize all you want, but the fact of the matter is, going back as early as 2007, we were able to see possibly the incoming trajectory of this object, one of them at least, orbiting the sun. And folks, the sun is a very powerful star, even though it is a small to medium-sized star. It has extreme gravitational force. So, understanding the dynamics of the sun and its gravitational force. If an object did pass close enough, the sun would draw it in. Similar to how it draws in comets or asteroids. And they either are completely destroyed by the sun because they're so tiny, or they loop around the sun and they're shot back out into space in a very, very long orbit. Well, we're now dealing with objects that are massive, possibly 5 to 7 times the size of Jupiter. All of them a lot larger than the Earth. Why doesn't the sun drag them in and destroy them? Well, let's deal with orbital dynamics. So these objects were incoming, and their velocity and the sun's gravitational force pulled them in closer and closer and closer as the orbit shrunk. And that's usually what happens. See, if the Earth stopped orbiting the sun, it would literally pull the Earth directly into the sun and destroy it. The same applies to Mercury and Venus and Mars and all of our planets. If they stopped orbiting, they would eventually be sucked right into the sun. But everything is in constant motion within their orbits. And apparently this system is maintaining an orbit. And it also seems, I guess, maybe the largest object, which may be the main core, has a pretty massive magnetic field. Now, over the course of the last couple of years, we've been in this solar minimum. Usually during these solar minimums, the sun is, not very active. But since 2016, 17, 18, 19, and even into this year, and if you've watched all my videos, I've shown all of you these coronal mass ejections. The activity on the sun has not slowed down. Yes, sunspots, that's a different story. There have been very few, but the activity on the sun has persisted. And during this activity, which I'm referring to these large explosions on the sun, these coronal mass ejections, they're occurring like clockwork. And it seems to be that when this Planet X stellar core system is orbiting so close to the sun, it is creating these coronal mass ejections. That is why I'm able to detect this object. It's almost like the sun is sending us a signal. Okay, this object has gotten too close to me. Let me show it to you in the form of this coronal mass ejection. And that's what we are seeing. There have been several occasions over the past 6 months, maybe a little longer, that I was able to capture a photograph of what seems to be the entire system. It is affecting our sun, but what I do worry about is as we are now moving out of this solar minimum, we're going to be moving directly into a solar maximum, which will mean more sunspots, more activity on the sun, more coronal mass ejections, possibly even multiple coronal mass ejections occurring at the same time at different positions on the sun, solar flares, massive filament releases, and, it's just a matter of time that the Earth will be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and we may be subjected to a fury of hell. Now, that is all speculation. But when you deal with the laws of probability, eventually it's going to happen. Why do I say that? Well, just take a look at the activity on the sun. The orbit of the Earth is 365 days. So, if we are having multiple coronal mass ejections as the sun comes out of this solar minimum, and the activity, the natural activity on the sun increases, and the interaction with this stellar core object pulling plasma from the sun, creating the coronal mass ejections, well, it's just a matter of sheer numbers. So as the sun's activity intensifies, so does the interaction with these objects and our sun. So what I'm saying is, eventually, like I said, eventually the Earth will be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Does the government know about this? Do the world governments know about it? Well, that's a 50-50 shot. But all I know is, over the course of the last couple of years, they've sent out 2 highly sophisticated probes to monitor the sun. Each of the probes orbiting the sun in a different pattern. Are they getting data from this? Yes, they are. Are we seeing this data? No, we are not. Are we seeing photographs? No, we are not. We're not getting anything from these 2 probes. And it makes me wonder, okay, well, all of a sudden, bingo, after all of these years, of having the other space satellites out there, the stereo space satellite that monitors the sun, SOHO, LASCO, the Solar Dynamics Observatory, the SDO, all of these cameras that we look at. Why all of a sudden, just a few years ago, they decide to, send these other 2 probes out? All those other probes are old. They've been out there for, 15, 20 years. Technology's different now, but they need more information. You just can't walk over to an observatory here on Earth and look through a telescope and see everything that you want to see and get all of the critical information. You can't get that from a telescope. You need to have a probe or several probes out there close by with new technology monitoring what is happening. And I think that's what has been done. There's a very high possibility that these world governments that are involved in this, call it what you want, research, they know a lot more than I do. But do they know what to do? Or do they know what to expect? That's a critical question. But anyways, I haven't been that involved in doing a lot of live streams on my YouTube channels that much anymore. The censorship is just ridiculous. And I'll be quite frank with all of you. I'm just tired of arguing with people that don't believe it or call you a fake or whatever, or the pictures are fake. Oh, you're manipulating the photographs. Duh. I mean, come on, man. This YouTube channel, Planet X News, has produced the best evidence for public viewing than anywhere in the world. Period. It took years and years of research, hard work, learning, and understanding to figure it all out. And I still haven't figured it all out 100%. Maybe I never will. But what I have brought to the table is cold, hardcore photographic evidence that nobody has ever shown any of you. You're only going to see it here, right here on Planet X News. Now, I just uploaded a video the other day. And once again, the sun's going crazy and it's blasting these large coronal mass ejections. And the one that went off the other day, it was on the backside of the sun, thank God. But eventually, like I said, we're going to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. And we'll see what happens. You really can't make a prediction on what may happen. But it does seem to me that the world, governments, call them what you want, New World Order, it seems that they're all preparing mankind for something. We just don't know what. But anyways, that short little video that I did, basically, guys, I'm keeping up with my work. I'm monitoring everything. Trust me. I could be doing, 4 or 5 videos a day. I could be doing a live stream every single day. But, I have some other things on my plate right now that are taking up a very large portion of my time. But I'm still up every single day, 4 a.m., starting my research and doing, my investigative work and monitoring everything. And if I do see something that is quite unusual, you all will be the first to see it. But anyways, getting to the photograph that is on your screen now. This was just yesterday. Again, another coronal mass ejection. And now we are able to upload the short video clips that we get from the SEEDS website. Normally, they will range anywhere from 50 to about 130 frames, which shows the coronal mass ejection. At that point in time, the program basically slows the video down tremendously, and then it's looking at each individual frame. Now remember, folks, this isn't like your everyday run-of-the-mill video that you watch on Netflix. Okay, this data that comes from these satellites is transmitted, or at least what we see are frames that are put together. So in a short video clip, there could be 100 200 frames that are put together, and then when you play it, it shows you that coronal mass ejection, or what we're looking at. So it's frame by frame by frame. It's almost like, going back into the 1920s and 1930s with film production, So that's how this program that we've developed, that's how it's working. When it does see something that is, let's say, for instance, round, okay? We're not looking for square objects, okay? We're not looking for a square planet. We're looking for a round planet. It will single out those frames, and then it will take a closer, detailed look, peeling back the layers of interference and giving us a clearer, high-definition, detailed photograph of what it is seeing. Now, I've tried to explain this many, many times to people, but, there's a lot of newcomers that see the videos and, they say, oh, you're photoshopping these photographs. You're putting spheres into the photographs. Listen, folks, I have nothing to gain by doing that. The photographs are high definition. You can take a screenshot of any one of them and you can pick it apart. You can zoom in on it. You can see all the detail. There is no photoshopping. And if you think there is, try to duplicate it yourself. So far, no one has. They've attempted it, and, well, I've seen some of the little troll baby videos, and the photographs that they're trying to duplicate look absolutely ridiculous, and you can tell that they were manipulated using, some kind of Microsoft drawing program, or I don't know. And as far as the Photoshop, I don't think so. I don't own Photoshop, but it does take a very, very long time for this program to render the photographs. And when they do come out, I don't have to touch them. I don't have to touch them at all. And I've sat here, many a days, hours at a time, staring directly at my computer screen in complete awe of what I'm seeing. It is truly amazing. You can believe what you want to believe. If you don't believe what you're seeing here, then there's no need to come back. But if you are truly intrigued at what is happening, then you'll stay tuned. So, in the photograph that's on the screen now, this was yesterday, not very many hours ago. Large coronal mass ejection, violent as all hell. It actually kind of spewed from the sort of the backside of the sun, not facing the earth. As you can see right here, where my cursor is, these little red plus signs and these little blue ones right here, these are embedded in the program from the SEEDS program, from the coronagraph. That's nothing that I put in there. It shows you the direction of the coronal mass ejection, and the blue shows you how far out it is, and kind of the direction that the CME is going. So those can't be taken out. Okay, those are part of the SEEDS program, not my program. And if any of you view these coronagraphs on your own, well, you'll know what I'm talking about. But you can clearly see the object. It's right here. Once again, you can see how close it is to the sun. And remember, this big black circle right here, this is the occulter. It is inside of the camera. It is meant to block out the sun's intensity so we can see what's happening out here. So the sun, usually like on the LASCO, has a round circle in the middle, and that signifies the size of the sun. So the sun would be right in here, not the whole size of this black circle. One thing that's always been a critical problem is distance or depth perception. So I don't know how close this is to the sun. I don't know if it's closer to the camera. I don't know if it's further back, because, it's kind of a two-dimensional photograph, not 3D. But it's pretty damn close to the sun in order for it to create and pull this plasma from the sun, creating these coronal mass ejections. Okay, so I hope all of you were able to follow that. If we move down and we go into a zoomed in, this is zoomed in about 50%. Now you can start to see things a little more clearly. And, this white area here, I am just assuming that is part of the coronal mass ejection. It could be massive disturbances on this stellar core as it is passing by. And remember, folks, we're not able to see this in real time. We're seeing it in frames that may be taken every 12 minutes or 16 minutes or 18 minutes apart. And they don't always give us all of the data. Sometimes there are breaches in the data, and you see 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, 12 hours, or sometimes even a whole day missing. It all depends. So we can see some sort of disturbance here. That could be a massive cloud of plasma, gas. I don't know exactly what that is. But you could sure as hell see that object right there, engulfed in the remnants of this coronal mass ejection. And this one was pretty violent. It actually spewed very, very intensely from the close to the backside of the sun. And we could move in a little bit closer, and we could see a little bit more detail. Now, just to be a wise ass, does that look like it's photoshopped to you? Doesn't look photoshopped to me. Looks like some pretty damn good detail. So let's move on to the next photo. And this one is even closer. Now, folks, let's be realistic here. You don't see any pixelization, do you? Yeah, these photographs are produced in ultra high definition 4K. They're clear. They're as clear as we are going to get. So you can see that, yeah, that is a perfectly round sphere. Is it a plasma ball being produced by the coronal mass ejection, as others have said? I don't think so. I don't think so. Because the plasma ball would just dissipate and go away, and I don't think the sun can produce completely perfectly spherical balls of plasma. So let's move to another frame. So now we're, I'd say about 2 hours, I believe. Let me just double check here. 1948 was this frame. Then the next frame was 21:36:07. So we're a few hours ahead. Now you can see these little plus figures in red and blue. Now the object is still moving. How fast? I don't know. That's very, very hard to judge. I'm not a super duper mathematician like Dr. Albers. Maybe she could figure that out if she was back at her duties. But unfortunately, she is not at this time. So we can see that the object has moved just slightly away from the sun. So apparently it is traveling in this direction. So let's move to a closer view. Now, here, once again, if you were to, per se, Photoshop this photograph, how in the hell would you maintain these little plus marks, which distinguish the intensity and direction of the coronal mass ejection? Yeah, that's what I thought. So, folks, the photographs, they're not fake, they're not photoshopped, they're not manipulated. What you're seeing is the photograph being revealed, what is truly there. So let's take a closer look. Now we zoomed in, this is about 75%. So I'll just leave this up on the screen for you to take a look at. Now, you can see this cone shape right back here. Seems to be the trailing edge, could be debris, it could be, massive clouds of gas that are trailing behind this object as it's passing by the sun, and it's pulling the plasma from the sun because of the interaction. You have two very large magnets, two magnetic forces ripping and tearing at each other, one larger than the other, but we don't know how strong the magnetic field is on this main stellar core. Obviously, it's pretty damn strong, but probably not stronger than the sun. I would say it's definitely some competition. But let's zoom in even further. And here's as close as you're going to get. And once again, folks, if this was some manipulated photograph, if this was some type of a fraudulent photograph, photoshopped, whatever, is it going to look this clear? If it was nothing more than a ball of plasma, as some people just like to say, would it be this perfect? Would you see that much detail? No, I don't think you would. But over this past year, developing this technique, and with the help of an extreme program, we've uncovered it. It's right in front of your face. As I've said before, it is undeniable. And you are free to believe whatever you want to believe. But there is one thing that you cannot say that you are seeing, and that is the extreme earth changes, the extreme weather changes. It's all happening. Back in 2016, I figured that a lot of what we are seeing now would happen. But I didn't know if I was going to see it in my lifetime. I was wrong. I am seeing it in my lifetime. And we are going to see a hell of a lot more in these years to come. As the sun moves out of this solar minimum, which is a period of 11 years, we will be moving into a solar maximum, where the activity naturally on the sun increases. Now, there is another factor that is not going anywhere anytime soon. Not in this lifetime, probably not in 1,000 lifetimes. Our solar system has grown. And maybe, just maybe, that's too much for mainstream science to swallow. Maybe they think that it would create fear and panic worldwide. I don't understand that philosophy that they may have. I don't understand that way of thinking. This should be the biggest science, astronomy, astronomical find in modern history. But it's not. Because they lie and they cover it up. For whatever reason, I don't know. Makes no sense. It is a huge, huge discovery. The photographic evidence proves it. Who cares about some exoplanet 55 light years away? I don't care about it. What I care about is what is happening within my solar system that is affecting the planet that I live on. And that planet's called Earth. And we are seeing those extreme changes. And those extremes are going to get worse. You're going to see some of this. You're going to see some of this as we move into winter in the northern hemisphere. You're going to see parts of the northeastern part of the United States with a very extremely warm and possibly wet, and I mean rain, not snow, parts of the northeast. It's going to be very, very moderate. And you're going to see parts of the central part of the United States just undergoing hellacious drops in temperatures and massive storms. The same is going to apply for parts of Europe. See, the jet stream is just completely destroyed in both hemispheres. It's not going to get better anytime soon. Within the next 30 days, once again, as I've predicted and I've mentioned over the past 3 years, you're going to see complete hell down under in Australia. Temperatures just going through the roof. Extreme heat. We're going to see all kinds of anomalies in Antarctica. During the next 4 months, we're going to see a lot of possible news reports about more massive chunks of ice breaking off of Antarctica. Some of them as large as a state here in this country. Huge pieces. The Arctic region, the North Pole, pretty much this past spring and summer and fall, all of the ice is gone. Yes, now new thin ice, young ice is forming, but all the old ice is gone. There's a lot that we're not being told. Radiation levels around the world is something that that I'm worried about in the years to come. Over the next couple of years, as the sun continues to move out of the solar minimum into a solar maximum, those radiation levels are going to intensify. What's that going to do to our human bodies? What is that going to do to aquatic life, marine life, plant life, animals? What's that going to do to the earth in general? So that is something that we are going to have to wait and see. But worst of all, that's something that we are going to live through. I guess going through that experience will be the way that we gain our knowledge, and we will figure out a way to deal with it as we move into this 11-year cycle of a solar maximum. So we will see. We will see what's going to happen. To me, it's very interesting. I've always been a science buff. I've always loved Earth space science. Go figure. Look where I'm at now. Very interesting. But I wanted to share these photographs with you. And, maybe, hopefully based on my schedule and my energy level, I could start, doing some live streams. I kind of wanted to stay away from YouTube a little bit during this whole, election situation. There's just so much censoring going on. I don't even like to mention the word. But they're hammering me, on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube. It's just ridiculous. And you put all this work into this disclosure and nobody sees it. It's ridiculous. But with the help of all of you, you can share these videos and hopefully others see them and listen and observe and understand. And, maybe after the first of the year, get through the holidays, and maybe I'll start moving back into doing a daily live stream. Mark over at Wages World, Mark's been doing a fantastic job on monitoring the sun and all of the activities. Mark's come a long, long way, and he's educated himself, and he sees what is happening, and he's been doing some fantastic live stream reports. And I watch them. I get some of my updates from listening to him now. So Wages World, if you're not subscribed, get over there. There's a link on my main channel on YouTube on that page, featured channels, and you can just click on that link, Wages World, subscribe, set your little bell for your notifications, and whenever Mark goes live, you can jump in there and catch a solar update, earthquake updates, weather updates. I'm going to be doing a lot of weather updates as we start to move into a very bad period of weather that's going to be about 4 months long. And that's probably going to be, from December all the way through into, I would say probably into April. But again, the weather situations in the United States and Canada, they're going to be really, really weird, folks. Depending on where you live in the United States, you're either going to have one hell of a bad winter, Arctic temperatures, or you may get lucky and you may have a very, very mild, and I mean really mild, winter. And, that's all due to this super erratic jet stream. And we'll go into more of that in the time to come. But you guys just stay tuned. If any of you would like to help out and contribute to the fund that I've been creating for Dr. Albers, when it comes time for this chelation therapy to begin at the end of December, financially it's going to be very, very trying on both of us. So if any of you would like to make a donation or a contribution to help out, it would be greatly appreciated, folks. It takes a lot for me to even ask. But I don't know what else to do. It's been very, very hard for me over these past several months to see someone that I respect, love, and care for in this diminished capacity. It is a shame to watch a beautiful mind waste away when she has helped all of us in understanding a lot of things. But there's a link in the description box under this video, and it would be greatly appreciated. Now, if you cannot make that contribution, just simply keep her in your thoughts. Maybe just a mindful prayer. And hopefully everything turns out okay. That's what I'm praying for every single minute of the day. But anyways, folks, I'm going to jump off of here, and I just wanted to share these updated photographs. They rendered very, very early this morning, and I was pretty thrown back by what I saw once again. And you will only see this type of critical evidence. You will only see it right here on Planet X News. Take care, everybody. Be safe.